What's going on, guys? It's Melt here, and welcome back to the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode episode number 2 here for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, or more commonly known as Imola. If you did miss the last episode, it was the Bahrain Grand Prix. Fairly good debut for the car from our end. Got into Q2 by the skin of our teeth, just ahead of Jack Aitken, who did just miss out. And shame his race ended like on the closing 2-3 laps with an engine failure. It blew up right in our face. So just going through admin here, we got a personnel event. Aitken has been hitting the stride in the simulator. Should we improve their pace or awareness? Now we're not planning on keeping him long term, so we're gonna choose. We're gonna go for pace, so he can score us a few more points than he would normally, as the F2 driver that you get at the start of the career mode is usually pretty piss poor. But you can see there P12 in the standings right now as we finished P12 in Bahrain. But we're gonna go skip ahead, fast forward time. We get our rear wing upgrade there that failed last episode, but our ignition upgrade does fail, so that is a really kind of a bummer, because we do need a lot of power for Imola, especially for that straight and the a lot of the short acceleration zones. But our rear floor upgrade does come in, and we do get the ignition system just before the Grand Prix. So that is very, very lucky. But now we are going to go and buy some perks. We're going to get development feedback and power mapping, because we want as little engine wear as possible. But that's all the admin work done for today's episode, so we're going to skip ahead to qualifying, so we'll see you there. But just before qualifying, we are going to go and get some R&D upgrades, as you do gain a lot of points from practice. So what we're going to focus on is chassis and aerodynamics to focus on raw performance. We're looking on reducing drag, as the FOM car at the start is ridiculously draggy. Possibly gain maybe 10-20 miles an hour. So we are going to get streamlined suspension arms there, but that won't come in until after Spain for Monaco. But now we are going to get to quali, so I will see you there this time. So now in the garage here, and look at the weather forecast. Raining in Q1, Q2, Q3, and 75% chance all the way through the race. So we're gonna put on a wet Imola setup here. Probably gonna hamper our qualifying. We're gonna go for max downforce here. Hopefully we can get into Q2, but it's gonna have to be a lot of luck. We're gonna lower the tyre pressures as well, maximise as much grip as we can. But we're gonna now go and set our out lap, and hopefully only need to set one lap in Q1. Now realistically we only do want to be setting one lap, purely for the durability, which you're gonna get sick of me saying through this season. But the engine isn't gonna hold up very well, and if it does rain like it's expected to, no one is going to go faster. There's a 0% chance of them going faster. But been a fairly good Sector 1 so far, hitting every apex we've needed to, kept it within all of the track limits. But this corner is my Achilles heel on this circuit, as it's a late apex uphill braking zone. It's a little bit of an awkward corner, and this corner here very satisfying to get right. Not taking as much speed as we could have through their mind, but nevertheless we are not trying to bin the car into a wall, just trying to get a solid lap down, as Ocon is the first car to set a lap of 15.7 there. Can we go faster than the Frenchman on our first lap? As we come up to the line here, it is a 16.5, last place, 8 tenths off of Ocon's time actually, but we are gonna need to go again, as that lap was not where we really want to be. And here we are crossing the line to go for our second flying lap. What we've done, we've took some front wing off and now running 9 on the front wing instead of 11, as we cannot change the rear wing because of parc ferme, and I want as much rear grip as I can during the race. But look at this, we are already just over a tenth up, pretty much just down the straight, and there's the confirmation from Jeff expecting rain in about 10 minutes. So the weather forecast very inaccurate for Q1 there. It said it was maybe gonna rain towards the end, but that corner there, my Achilles heel once again. We did miss the apex quite substantially really, but just going over the track limits there as well. We're 4 tenths up now. I think we need about 4 tenths to actually get through into Q2, and can we do it? Our teammate Jack Aitken at least 16th or higher, as we cannot see him on the timing board on the top left of the screen. But we're coming around the final complex of the corners now. We're really carrying a lot of speed through, going onto the gravel on the final corner there. We're going to lose time all the way up the line, but we're still about half a second up. And where are we going to be? Are we through into Q2 for the second race running? We are not in the top 14 of Q1, but yes, we are through into Q2. Me and Jack Aitken both are P15 and 16 here, so very successful car, relatively speaking, for the first 2 races, for where we actually expected it to be. But now going into our first run in Q2, we're not expecting to get out of Q2 at all. There's pretty much no chance that it's gonna happen, but as long as me and Jack Aitken maybe around 13th to 15th, I'll be happy with how we've performed in Q2. So the end of our first run, it's gonna be a 16.616, 4 tenths off Yuki Tsunoda, who is in P12 currently. But on our second run, we are improving going into the final corners, but you can see it's starting to rain now and losing grip. We run wide on the final corner, but we just dive into the pits as there was no point in finishing the run. But we are P14, Jack Aitken P15, and Esteban Ocon P16, so he's having an absolute nightmare, but that's quali done, so let's get to the grid.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Unlike most Formula 1 circuits, Imola is driven anti-clockwise and offers our drivers today just over 3 miles of glistening wet asphalt to negotiate. It's made up of a roughly equal split of 9 right-hand turns and 10 left-hand. Watch the drivers on the way into turn 16. Managing their speed there will be crucial, with the rain only adding to the difficulty of that downhill braking section, which then of course leads into the track's longest straight, though no DRS there today of course. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. And judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Valtteri BOTTAS lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Norris, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, Gasly, Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, the owner driver, Aitken, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen, Russell, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So we are now waiting in the cockpit for lights out. We're going to sort our strategy. Going to be a no stopper. We will underfuel the cars. You save quite a lot of fuel in the wet, but the lights are now coming on. We're building the revs, and it's 5 lights out, and we are racing in Italy for the first time this season. And it was some fairly poor reactions from us, but not a lot of wheel spin, and they get away. Jack Aitken up our inside there, and Esteban Ocon to our left. We are 3 wide going into turn 1. We can't see a lot because of the rain, but we go up the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, I think that was, and round the outside of Pierre Gasly, but it was an illegal overtake because of yellow flags, because I think that's a Williams that he spun round. So we're going to let him go, but hopefully we're going to get him back. We're going to switch him back left to right. What a move. Get lots of wheel spin. Can we do him on the brakes into the hairpin? Yes, we can. We're also going to attack Lance Stroll round the outside off the dry line. So we did have a lot more grip as the dry line was rubbered, so it'll be very greasy. But look who's in front of us. That is Jack Aitken in P11. So absolutely fantastic start from the young Brit, as we're really struggling with some wheel spin here. Car not having as much rear down force as we would like, even though we are running 11-11 wings, and I think that was Lance Stroll who just had a look there to our inside. But we've had a good run through the chicane here. Do we have the run on Jack Aitken? Yes, we do. We're closing up to him with ERS. We're going to go to the left, force that gap open. Hopefully he doesn't fight us too much. We can just easily pass him, as he is our teammate. And now Fernando Alonso, P10, Vettel, P9. Can we get these guys? We can get Vettel. He's jumped into the pit, so he must have had some probably front wing damage from the big kerfuffle at turn 1. There was a few bangs I heard through the audio, but Fernando placing his car right in the middle of the track there, doing a good job of defending, like Fernando always does, making his car as wide as possible. But through the chicane now, he's got a little bit sideways, so did we, but we do still have a better run on him. So down into the final 2 corners, we're going to move to the right. He's going to leave us just enough space. We went onto the grass just to make sure we didn't make contact with him. That could have gone very badly wrong, but we've gone round his outside, leaving the space on the inside, and that's all she wrote. We got the move done, but that isn't all she wrote. It's going to come back at us down the straight on the run into the Tamburello chicane, the first braking zone of the lap, and also Jack Aitken's going to come. So are we going to go 3 wide into turn 1? Yes, we are. But Jack Aitken's going to brake early. He's going to back out of it. Fernando goes very far over the curb. That's a Ferrari spun round at the Tamburello chicane. That was Carlos Sainz, who's now in the gravel trap and will be pretty much last place, ahead of a Red Bull and an Aston Martin though. So one of the Red Bulls really not having a good day. But can we get Fernando again? Keep making us go very tight here. We're going to leave him just enough space on the exit, go around the outside in the second part of the chicane and get that move done. So hopefully we can now begin to pull away and he won't start fighting back. But that Alpine is faster than our car on paper, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does start to claw back time at us, especially when we're making mistakes like that and getting it very sideways, putting the power down. He's going to go have a look up the inside, but he's not going to commit to it. It was very close to the back of our car there, but he just about didn't make a move. But here is he going to make a move. He goes to the left through the fast right-hander, and he's overtook us off circuit there, I feel. So realistically, I think he should give us that position back. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think of that. But if he has to give it back or not, it doesn't matter, because we're going to try and take it back just like we did last lap, 2 laps ago, sorry. But instead we're going to go to the inside and get that done nice and smoothly, and hopefully now Lance Stroll joins the party and starts to attack Fernando. But Fernando's gone to the right, Stroll has gone to the left. We are now 3 wide in the way at Imola, going into the Tamburello chicane. Lance Stroll, can he get both me and Fernando? Yes, he can. Fernando loses out to me and Stroll has got us both. So very, very nice driving from Lance Stroll. And a few laps later, he's got about a second of a gap. Fernando still on my tail, but he's going to go to the left through the fast left-hander. We're going to hang it round the outside. Very nice. And that's Kimi Räikkönen out of the Grand Prix. So hopefully a safety car comes out, because that will mean that we bunch up. But we've just about defended from Fernando well there, but lots of wheel spin. We go onto the grass there as well, just trying to control it, and there was some debris went flying across there. I think that was from Pierre Gasly's cars. We were 3 wide into the tight chicane, which was never ever gonna work realistically, but the virtual safety car is out, I would imagine, because of that debris, and it's ending now. Can we get a good run on Fernando, better than Fernando, sorry, as he's the attacking car. He's gonna slipstream us into turn 1, he's gonna move to the left to the inside line, keep it there. We leave him just about enough space on the apex, but we've kept the position for this lap. And there's Kimi parked up on the left. Shame for him. One of the races he would have liked to do well in, considering he's driving for an Italian team. He would have liked to do well in both Italian GPs, but we've locked up into the Tamburello, and Fernando has hit us there. We've just about banged wheels. Hopefully there's no damage to our wing. We're going to have a look now, and no, there wasn't any damage. But through the next chicane, kind of, almost, we're going to have a look, but it can't. Fernando was defending very, very nicely there. But Sonoda as well, he's going to have a look up our inside, where there was really no space. So trying to force the gap, trying to force us to open that gap there. But now we need to chase down Fernando Alonso. There isn't any strategy involved in this race, so it's pretty much what you can do on track, unless there's a safety car. Then a few cars might be boxing, maybe a few of the lower down the grid cars because of tyre wear, for example. But hopefully that will not be us. Hopefully we won't need to box for damage or anything like that as well, because anything can happen in Formula 1. You never know, we might win this race still at this point. If everyone in front of us has an engine failure, it's highly unlikely that we will do that, but never say never in Formula 1, the sport where absolutely anything can happen. But we're now going to chase down Fernando on the home straight into the Tamburello chicane. Their car quite fast in a straight line. It's strange to say that about a Renault engine, but I would put money on it being more the aerodynamic side of things, and not the engine. But as we move on to lap 12 here, Fernando now with a 1.5 second gap. Sadly we've let him pull away from us, but coming through the double right hander, we've had a big moment there. We've just exit stage right there, I think. Yeah, exit stage right on the grass, being overtaken by Yuki and Ocon. Now we are now out of the points, and George Russell is going to try and overtake us through the chicane, but we're not going to let that happen. Leave him no space on the exit, nowhere to go, and Giovinazzi has benefited from that as he's got past Russell. And now is he going to have a look at us down the straight into the Tamburello chicane? Hopefully we're going to have enough ERS and enough straight line speed to not let it happen. We've just made some contact with his side pod there, just a little bit, breaking into the chicane, squeeze him into the apex, and he's spun. He's round, I think. Hopefully that was not because of us, but I think it could have been. So that is Giovinazzi probably out of the equation for points in this race, as we've gotten deep into the next chicane, and that's really not good for the Italian team. And Sebastian Vettel is out of the session, stopped in the Tamburello chicane there as well, and the safety car is out. So lost about 3 laps of racing due to the safety car, but hopefully we can now benefit of some overtakes to get into the points, because of the field being a lot more bunched up. We've got a bit of a gap going into the first braking zone compared to everybody else, so that's good. Less likely we're going to make contact, but we did lock up and go deep. And Max Verstappen was that Red Bull who did not have a good day. He is P13 behind us, so when he does get past George Russell, as he has just done now, we're going to use a fairly smart game plan, but we're going to have a look on Esteban Ocon ourselves before we use this this game plan of using a faster car to our advantage as we've just gone off circuit at the I don't know what that chicane is called, but the game plan is let Max Verstappen past, as we're going to do here. We're going to brake early, not fight him, let him past, use him like a homing missile almost. We're going to send him to attack Esteban. Hopefully it'll work and we can close up a lot more and maybe overtake just Esteban, who is what we're really looking for, but hopefully we can overtake them both, and it's working well right now. They were just battling through all 3 of them corners, and we've just gained about 6/10 now, so the plan seems to be working. Esteban Ocon stays ahead, which is pretty much what we want, so they lose as much time as possible, because if Max gets ahead, I would imagine he's going to pull away, but it's deja vu, same as last lap, and Esteban gets Max again. So if Max can't get past Esteban and we can somehow catch up to a Red Bull, we're probably just going to go for the move, but there's yellow flags behind us. I think that's a hopefully just a mechanical failure for a car, but the safety car is out again. George and Mick are out, and that's George Russell spinning. And oh, Mick Schumacher's hit right into his back tyre, and the Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi. So all 3 of them cars are out. Both Alfa Romeos have retired from the race now. What? That was absolutely massive crash. Hopefully all drivers involved in that were okay. But we're now gonna restart the safety car here. Ocon still ahead of Verstappen in front of us, but the slipstreaming them all the way down. We've just got so much drag on this car, especially running 11 wings. But we're getting sick of waiting behind Max, waiting for him to do something. We're going to dive down the inside of him at turn 3, I think that is. And hopefully now we can close up to Esteban, as Alonso is P8. So haven't really lost too much time to him with the safety car coming out. But Max is going to have a look at us round the outside of the hairpin. We're going to defend that well. Keep it up the inside, tight to the apex. He couldn't replicate what we did to Stroll, but he's going to dive down the inside of us at the next left-hander, but we're going to go for a lovely little switch back there. Some very good defensive driving from myself versus a Red Bull driver, which is really not what we expected to be doing in this race. But here we go again. He's going to slipstream us right down into turn 1. Going to move to the right. We've got the defensive line, but we can't defend because he's got us before the braking zone. So he keeps that position, and hopefully he attacks Ocon. But that's pretty much the race. He got past. We couldn't catch up. So nothing happened in the last 9 laps. But that's the race done. Come home for P11. We got the wooden spoon and Nikita Mazepin, driver of the day, so he must have had an absolutely cracking drive, so it must have been well deserved.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Taking care of the car was absolutely vital today. It's been obvious all weekend that the pace was there, but look at the attrition rate we've had. They would have been very concerned about any minor anomaly towards the latter stages of this Grand Prix.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So, let's review the driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Nikita Mazepin gets my vote today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So, fairly eventful Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix here today. Valtteri BOTTAS coming home for the win, Hamilton P2, Checo P3 there, and they are now the top three in the championship standings. We get moved down to P14, Jack Aitken now P20, and we hold position in P8, top of the teams with no points. But that's going to be it for today's episode, guys. If you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, and have a Merry Christmas, everybody. This is going to be the last video before Christmas Day, so I hope everyone has a good Christmas and a great New Year, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.